January 14th, 2014. Want to talk about minimum wage today because, you know, believe it or not, if you keep your ear to the streets in politics, there's a bill that people are going to vote on to get the minimum wage raised from $7.25, which is the federal minimum wage, up to $10.10 an hour. Now, personally, I think that's long overdue. You could barely do anything on a $7.25 an hour income. Like, let's be real. If you're doing that, you're probably making around $15,000 a year. And with that bump to about $21,000, that'll actually help. Like, technically, I think it puts a family of 3 over the poverty line. Because if, as it is right now, you can barely make it.
So, I honestly don't see how people make it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's tough. It's crazy because that's why a lot of people have to have more than one job.
Yeah,
especially if you're on like a minimum, if you're working minimum wage type jobs. Yeah. Now, I think something has to be said that for the longest time, a lot of people in the higher income brackets have been making a lot more money. Like especially executives, like corporate executives, they've been cleaning up right around from like the 80s. It's been increasing, and minimum wage has barely been going up, while the people at the top getting more money. And fun fact for you: if minimum wage actually increased in proportion to how much executive pay has increased over the year, minimum wage would be $25 an hour.
Everybody would be all right.
And everybody's good.
Everybody would eat.
Exactly.
Everybody would eat.
Nobody's using Boost Mobile anymore. You know what I'm saying? Nobody needs a rush card. You know, we can use.
Hey man,
we
can't diss on the rush card, man.
No, we can't diss on a rush card.
Man.
Wait,
yeah,
don't.
You know
you can't plug rush card.
No.
Nothing wrong with the rush card though.
Nothing wrong.
But like I said, I think it's long overdue, and I think most people don't even realize that you're probably making a lot less than you really should be, especially with inflation. Things are getting more expensive. So, guys, I tell you, I want to have you reach out to your congressman if you know who your congressman is. If you don't, do better, man, because this is very important. Because I think at the end of the day, it helps with the poverty situation in this country, which is increasing over time, over the years. It's gotten worse and worse. And for a country like America to have these many people in poverty because we don't pay them enough, is crazy.
But you know, if you think about it, to even go further than that, like you said about having parents who have to have 2 jobs, that now leaves, you know, kids unattended. Right. You know what I'm saying? Which can have them get into trouble, which then makes this whole cycle of, you know what I'm saying, like kids not be able to get out because when they see that their parents are working twice as hard and doing all this stuff and not making no money for it, as a young kid, you're gonna like, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So when you see somebody down the street selling whatever they selling, and they're like, wait a minute, so you mean to tell me that this guy made like 5 G's in 1 week, and my folks can't even make 5 G's in 1 month? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I might as well just go the hustling route and do it that way. So if you think about it, this actually starts off this whole ugly cycle of, like I said, of the whole like impoverished people, and that goes beyond any race, you know what I'm saying? But it's just one of the things where I think that this is the first step of making sure that this whole country, you know what I'm saying, kind of gets back on its feet.
Most people probably look at it like, why do I want to work at McDonald's, make booty money when I could do something else? It's just like there's no, you don't feel like you have no worth, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I'm going to a job where I can barely make anything. What's the point?
What's the point?
But at least now, I mean, hopefully this bill will be passed, which I hope it does. But if that can actually, like you said, it'll help people. Maybe, you know, there's nothing wrong with actually working and doing these things. And now we can incentivize it by paying people what they should be making. Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is, like, if you think about it, in our parents' day, like, a lot of people, you could have been a janitor, and you could have raised a family of 3 and sent them to college, and you were a janitor.
A carpenter.
Yeah, in the 70s, like, exactly, doing stuff
like that. Made it work. So then you go like, okay, so what's really happening here? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it goes deeper than what it is of just saying like, oh, you know, just pay them, you know, $3 extra. So you don't understand how important that $3 extra is, you know what I'm saying? Because it ties into just so much stuff. And I'm not saying that that's going to fix all the problems, you know what I'm saying, but that definitely helps out, you know what I'm saying, when people can see that there's some glimmer of hope going, like, you know, okay, so I can work this honest job and at least feel good about making a living instead of going out the hustling way. And then at that point, you got people going into jails and all that stuff. And then at that point, once they go into jail, they can't get a job after that.
Well, imagine, imagine
it's an ugly cycle.
If they can just keep raising it and raising it, because it's not like it's going to take. I think the argument that people will hear who don't want to raise it on the other side of the aisle will probably be like, well, you know, like a lot of businesses just can't afford to have that kind of wage increase. Come on, that's bullshit. Yeah. Let's be real. Like, for the amount of profits that they're grossing every year, just to kick everybody a few extra bucks. Oh, I'm sorry that, you know, the CEO went from making about $10 million a year to $7 million a year. Oh my God, how could that happen? So like I said, guys, educate yourselves. Look up the minimum wage. Support your congressman. Tell them to vote for this the Fair Pay Act, because honestly, I think it's a great thing. Not to get too political on here, but I think it's just something for all people to be aware of, especially younger people getting into the workforce and knowing what the future of this economy is going to look like. Absolutely. A little bit of knowledge for you. Thank you, Corey. Till next time.